Hello guys, today we are going to create this amazing terrain using only geometry nodes in Blender. I will show you how to apply a terrain shader using attributes, allowing you to automatically generate different colors for water, vegetation, rocks. So let's get started. First, create a new project. Then go to the geometry nodes workspace, delete the default cube and add a plane. Scale the plane up a little and apply all transformations. Add a set position node. Our goal is to create some terrain like bumps along Z axis. To do that, add a subdivide mesh. If you'd like to see the density of the mesh, switch to the wireframe mode and check the subdivisions and set the subdivision levels to 4. Add a position node. You will notice that nothing happens immediately. Disconnect the position input and add both a combined XYZ node and a separate XYZ node. Connect them as shown. Now you will have access to the Z socket. If you change the Z value, the entire plane move upwards. However, that's not what we want. We want only certain vertices to move so the plane looks like a terrain. Add another combined XYZ node followed by a vector math node set to add. Connect the nodes as shown. Then add another position node and connect it to the second input of the vector math node. From the output, add a noise texture node. If we connect the noise texture directly, we will get a displacement, but we won't have much control over the height. To fix that, add a math node and set it to multiply. As you increase the multiplication value, the terrain becomes taller and more dramatic. For the noise texture, I'll set the scale value to around 0.2. Changing values inside the node tree repeatedly can be tedious. To make things easier, duplicate the group input node and connect the empty socket to the height control value, allowing you to adjust it quickly. Notice that when you increase the height, the entire terrain shifts upwards. Ideally, we want the terrain to remain centered around the origin. To achieve that, add another math node and set it to subtract. This offsets the displacement and keeps the terrain positioned correctly. Next, I like to control the terrain movement along the X and Y directions. Add two more inputs from group input node and connect them to the X and Y values. Rename them to X scrolling, Y scrolling. This allows us to move the noise pattern and create different terrain variations. To make the terrain look smoother, add a set shade smooth node. If you like more detail, simply increase the subdivision levels. Now let's move on coloring the terrain. The terrain contains minimum, maximum and intermediate height values Z-axis. We will use this information inside the shader to create automatic color transitions. For example, low areas can be water, slightly higher areas can be vegetation, mid-level regions can be rocky surface, high areas can become dry soil or mountain. First, add a set material node and create a new material like called terrain. Switch back to the geometry node editor. To store the height information, add an attribute statistic node and change its data type to vector. This gives us access to the minimum and maximum position values. We will also use the position node to capture the current height values. Add three separate XYZ nodes, three stored name attribute nodes. Connect them as shown. Give each stored attribute a meaningful name, minimum, maximum, and position. Now switch to the shader editor and enable the material preview mode so that we can see what are we doing. Add a map range node and a color ramp node. Then add tree attribute node and enter the exact same names used in the stored name attribute. Now we can start creating our terrain colors. For the lowest areas, I will use a beautiful blue color to represent water. Just above that, I will add a light green color to represent vegetation growing near the shoreline. Next, I'll add a brown tone for the rocky regions. Finally, I'll add slightly reddish brown color for soil and higher elevations. This helps everything blend naturally and creates a more realistic landscape. You can easily adjust the size of each terrain zone by moving the color stops on the color ramp. And that's it, our procedural terrain is now complete with automatic height based coloring, creating geometry nodes and attributes. I think this looks fantastic. Have fun experimenting with different settings, creating unique landscapes and exploring new ideas. Keep creating, keep practicing, and I'll see you in the next one. Happy blendering. You can easily adjust the size of each terrain zone by moving the color stops on on the color ramp. And that's it, our procedural terrain is now complete with automatic height based coloring, creating geometry nodes and attributes. I think this looks fantastic. Have fun experimenting with different settings, creating unique landscapes and exploring new ideas. Keep creating, keep practicing, and I'll see you in the next one. Happy blendering.